going on, guys? It's Mr. Action back at you with another episode of Packed In Action Figure Reviews, where we give you that action that's packed in. And on today's episode, we are going to take a look at the Marvel Legends series celebrating 85 years, Iron Fist and Luke Cage 2-pack, and I'm super excited to be going over this figure with you guys today. Now, truth be told, this is actually my first Iron Fist and Luke Cage figure that I've actually owned, so the fact that I was able to get two for one, I'm super excited about. And just taking a look at the window packaging and seeing all the different accessories that this comes with, man, it was definitely one of those figures that when I saw, I immediately grabbed and I picked it up. Super excited to be going over it with you guys today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this review. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have Iron Fist and Luke Cage out of the box, and I can honestly say that I'm very pleased with how both of these figures came out, man. Hasbro has been definitely dropping some heat on us lately this year, and this 2-pack is of no exception. This is what a 2-pack should be. Two figures that I feel like most people would generally want, as opposed to having one figure a part of the 2-pack that everybody wants while everybody hates the other figure. Yes, I'm talking about you, Cowboy Wolverine. But all jokes aside, this is a very well executed 2-pack figure that I'm super happy to have. I really like the articulation on the Iron Fist, and I'm super excited that they included him with so many different interchangeable hands so we can get him in some nice versatile poses. And as far as Luke Cage, he does come with an alternative head as well as an extra set of hands. I'd be lying to you if I said that I didn't wish that he came with that chain belt that I'm normally accustomed to seeing him with. But apart from that, I can't complain, man. I do like the size on this Luke Cage. I do like the brass knuckles that he does come with. I feel like they're very detailed. You can see the name spelled out clearly. Overall, this is a very solid 2-pack, man, and I am so happy that I was able to find it. Since I've had these guys out of the packaging, I've just had them set up and pose and fighting different characters that I have, and I really like the photo opportunities that you can get with these guys, as you guys can tell. These are some solid figures, but I can't help but feel that something is missing. I guess the only thing that we have to wait on Hasbro to do now is give us a comic version of Jessica Jones, so that way we can complete a Defenders team. But with that being said, let's go ahead and give these guys a closer look. Now jumping over into the accessories, starting off with Iron Fist, he does come with 3 different interchangeable hands. So he does have a set of flight/open palm hands. He also does have your standard fisted hands that we've seen time and time again. He also does have some Ryu Hadouken hands to shoot fireballs. And he also does what I would call Kung Fu hands, I guess. I wouldn't really know the proper term for it. But all of these different hands are going to give you a lot of versatility when it comes down to all the poses that you want to set up your Iron Fist. And being that he is a character that is versatile in numerous amounts of martial arts, I think it was super duper important that we got that. And he also comes with these fire flames that we've seen time and time again. I do like the fact that they're translucent, so when his hands are in them, you will actually be able to see the fist in there. So very nice attention to detail, man. And last but not least, he also does come with this alternative head sculpt, which I think is probably going to be the one that I'm probably going to have on him the most. I do like the digital printing that Hasbro has been doing, man. They've just been consistently very good with, you know, the detailing on there. I do like the white paint for the eyes. I think it came out very clean, as well as, you know, the black cowl look kind of over the eyes too came out really nice. I also do like how on the back of the head, this part of the mask is actually articulated, so you can move it from left to right, which I think is also going to be very beneficial when you have them posed up, so you can get some real nice dynamic poses in there. He also does have some nice wrinkle work on the mask too as well. The only really nitpick I would have with this is I kind of do wish that we had a little bit more black wash, just to kind of bring out some of those details inside the wrinkles of the mask. But apart from that, man, I really can't complain. I really do like this head sculpt. Then on the back of it, again, we also do see here that we also do have some nice sculpted hair work in there too as well. A very nice extra head sculpt that comes with this figure, man. I can't complain. Now moving right along over into the aesthetics of this figure, I really do like, again, as I stated before, the head sculpt with the digital printing that Hasbro has just been on point with lately. They've just been really dropping heat. I really do like the wrinkle work there on the mask as well as here on the back. Again, I just really do wish that they added a little black paint wash just to kind of bring out some of the detail there for the wrinkles, but apart from that, I really can't complain. Then over here, taking a look at the collar, man, I do like the design choice of this figure. However, there are a few issues that we are going to run into, and I will talk about that more so with the articulation. Taking a look at the back of the figure here, I do like the muscular tone and just how defined everything is, and I really do like this body mold that they decided to go with it, despite the one particular flaw that I am going to point out for you. But apart from that, I really like how this came out. Now, I do believe that the chest piece here is separate from this piece here that we see from this green side. I do feel like it is separate, and I do like the fact that they did that, because when it comes down to the paint, you want to make sure that the paint is good and that you're not going to see through it. And we are going to talk about the forearms, because the forearms does have that issue. But taking a closer look here at his chest piece, I do have a little splotch of paint outside of it, but you know, you would have to be looking up really close to it. But apart from that, man, I really like how this figure came out. The other thing that I do want to mention is that I do feel like his torso is a little bit on the long side. So the belt, I was thinking, would be able to move up, but when I pried it a little bit open, I could see that it's pegged in here into a hole. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get it to move, which is fine, because I did see that if I lift it up a little bit, you would see how far that does go, which would, to me, would look worse. So I am happy that the belt is not a floaty piece. Then coming over here, taking a look at the arms, as I mentioned previously before, I'm not quite sure why they went with this design. They should have just had made a cut here, because this whole entire arm is molded in green. So the paint that you see here is painted over it, and in certain conditions underneath certain lights, you are going to see the green you know, bleeding underneath from it. So that is quite of a bummer, but I do feel like there's enough paint on there to cover it. But that is just something to mention. Then moving down over here to the legs and the belt, I do like the sash. Again, a little black wash, a little paint here would have went a long way, just to kind of bring out some more of the detail here. Then moving down over here, down to the legs, I really do like the muscular tone that they decided to go with this guy. I kind of do wish, similar to how we have the wrinkle work here on his butt, I kind of do wish that they would have implemented that more all around his body, just to kind of show you that he's wearing a spandex suit. But again, that's just a small nitpick. Then coming down over here to the calves, I do like the fact that they made this a separate piece. I kind of similarly wish that they did the same design here, so that way we didn't have to bleed through with the green. But again, then coming down over here to his shoes, I really like the way that it came out. I do like the fact that we do have the toe articulation in there, and I feel like the paint is applied on there relatively clean. So apart the minor flaws that this figure has, I'm very pleased, because it is a very well aesthetically pleasing looking figure that I believe is going to be close to the source material. So there you go. Now jumping over into the articulation of this figure, I think most of you guys will be very pleased with the amount of articulation with this guy, minus some few points. So starting off with the head, his head is on a double ball peg, and honestly, this is going to be one of those points where I kind of do wish that we had the hinge. I do understand that this is the more superior system, but however, how Hasbro has implemented it here, it does not reach its fullest range of motion. So he can look up about this much, which honestly is really not that high. At first I thought it was due to the hair and stuff like that, but honestly it's not, it's just the design. Then he can also look down about this far. As far as your pivots go, he is going to get some nice pivots because he is on that double ball peg, so you are going to get him in some nice relatively ranges of motion there. Then coming down over here to the shoulders, he can get that T-man pose, which is super duper nice. We also do get butterfly joints that go far back as such, and the butterfly joints do come close. If you do fudge it a little bit, you can get his hands in there really nice up and close, you know what I'm saying? So I really do like the fact that this is a very well articulated figure. He also does have bicep swivel. He also does have double jointed elbows that go way beyond 90 degrees, which I think works. Then for his wrists, they are on hinges. They do hinge up about this much, and they do hinge down about this much. Now, where I do have the one flaw with the figure is going to be in the design and in the diaphragm. I do like the fact that we do have this diaphragm joint which we can move side to side, but as you guys can obviously tell that when we do that, it is going to break the figure up. So that is going to look a little bit nasty if you are one of those people who care about things like that. Then coming down here to the upside down ab crunch, we can get him to crunch this far back, which I think is phenomenal, and we can get him to crunch this far forward, which is really, really nice. With the diaphragm, you are also going to get that nice pivoting side to side, which I think also works really, really well. I do wish that he did have the waist articulation, so that way if we were to, you know, move him this way or that way, it wouldn't break up, you know, the mold, or just give us a ball peg joint at that point. Then moving down over here to the legs, he does have a thigh cut 360 degrees. He does have double jointed knees, which work really nice. No boot to butt. He also does have a boot cut here which goes 360, and he also does have feet that hinge up and down, and they also do pivot side to side. Now moving right along to Luke Cage's accessories, he does come with 2 pairs of hands. The first pair of hands are going to be his fisted hands that come with his brass knuckles that spell out his name, and I really do like how it's very detailed. I like the fact that, you know, Hasbro decided to use gold paint or a paint that has some kind of sheen to make it pop. I do like the fact that you can see that it spells out his name and that it's just not like, you know, just regular brass knuckles. He also does have a gripping hand and an open palm hand that he comes with, so you can use it for different versatility options in your poses. And then last but not least, he also does come with this very nice emotive head sculpt where he, you know, he's just yelling and shouting at you, man, and I really like the way how it came out, man. I really feel like it captures Luke Cage. I do have a little bit of missing paint here on mine. You can see the brown there, but not a huge deal for me, man. Very, very well, nice articulated head. He even has that's messed up, bro. He even has, like, you know, the little roll on the back of a head that most bald people have. I would know because I am bald. But that being said, I do like the way how this came out, man. I do like the attention to detail. I like the eyebrow. I like the wrinkle work, man. All in all, a very good figure. I like the teeth in there, man. Hasbro is really stepping up their digital printing, man. I can honestly say that, you know, they've really been on the ball with that. So those are your accessories that comes with this Luke Cage. Now moving right along over into the aesthetics of this figure, I really feel like Hasbro really nailed the look of Luke Cage, man. I mean, he's a pretty simple character design. There's not really much that you could really mess up. So starting off with the head, man, you know, very nice digital printing. As I stated before, Hasbro has just been really hitting the ball out of the park when it comes down to their digital printing. There are a few flaws on mine though, however, similar to the additional head sculpt that he comes with. On mine, you can see on his mustache and beard that there is a little bit of missing paint on there. You can only really tell when you bring it up close. I might just grab some black paint and add it on there myself. But I just really like, you know, how imposing he looks, man. You know, this is, you know, Luke Cage after all, so he is a pretty big jack dude. And, you know, everything that they sculpted and that they molded in his shirt definitely, you know, it definitely does say that. Now, what I was talking about previously before with the Iron Fist, I mentioned that I do wish that they had some wrinkle work throughout the body. This is what I'm talking about. I do wish that, you know, that was there more. So I am happy to see that we do have it here on, you know, this Luke Cage. And, you know, the wrinkle work doesn't just stop there. You know, it also continues going over into, you know, his shoulders. And I like the fact that, you know, this whole piece isn't yellow and that they cheapened out and just added, you know, the hand. If you guys know what I mean by this whole piece being yellow, I like the fact that we do see that it is rolled up. So nice attention to detail there. Then taking a look at his shirt, man, you know, he has a lot of nice folds and creases in there. Really like the way that it came out. I mean, this dude is huge, bro. I mean, for you to be wearing a shirt and it's looking like this on you, bro, crazy. You gotta go to the gym. Then over here, moving down to his arms, you know, very nice muscular tone. I do see some vein work in there. I really do like the way how it just came out, man. Again, you know, Luke Cage is a relatively simple design, something that you can't really mess up. Then moving straight down over to his legs, we can see that there's a lot of texture and detail in there, man. And I like the fact that, we do see this nice texturing in there. It really, gives the illusion that he's wearing jeans and that it's not like, a cheap plastic toy. So I really do like that. But before I wanted to talk about that more, I did want to talk about the belt. I do like the fact that, it spells out his name, Cage. But the one problem that I have with this belt, and honestly, it might be a nitpick, but I think because of the size of this character, I feel like his belt is a little bit too thin. For a comparison, here we have Wolverine, who is relatively a short dude standing at about like 5'3", 5 whatever. In the MCU he's like 6 foot something, but as you can see, Wolverine's belt is a lot thicker, what I'm saying, to me, than Luke Cage's belt. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, because of the stature of this guy, I feel like his belt should be a little bit more on the thicker side, but I'm not gonna complain. At least, we got his name on there. Then moving back to the jeans, man, again, we have a lot of wrinkle work on there, man, a lot of details on there, man, and I really can't complain. Even here at the back of the jeans, I do like how, how the pants pocket is molded in like that, you know what I'm saying? So when you move it, you're gonna get that there with it too. Then moving down over here to his boots, they kind of look like church shoes. I'm not gonna lie to you, they look more like church shoes than boots, but they still came out pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie to you, they do look good. You know what I'm saying? A lot of detail in there. We can see the wrinkle work as well as some of the laces on there. So again, this is a very simple design. You can't really mess up Luke Cage, and I think that Hasbro did a very good job with producing him with how he came out. So very pleased with how he came out. Now jumping over into the articulation of Luke Cage, starting off with the head. Similar to the Iron Fist, his head is on a double ball peg. Unfortunately, you're not going to get the best range of motion looking up. So that is the best you're going to get looking up. And as far as looking down, you're going to get about that much. So not that really much range of motion. However, because it is on that double ball peg, you are going to get some really nice pivots in there, which I really do appreciate. Then moving down over here to the shoulders, despite his stature and his size, we can get that T-Man pose. They don't articulate all the way up, but if you put a little pressure on there, you could actually get it to do so. Then he also has these nice butterfly joints that go about this far back, which I think is a pretty decent range. And then again, similar to how the Iron Fist, you can fudge it, you can put his hands in front as such to spell out his name. So I do like how, how articulated it is. Then coming down over here to the biceps, it is on a swivel 360 degrees. It is also double jointed past 90 degrees, which I think is also good for the size of this guy. Then his wrists are on hinges. They do go back this much and they do go forward this much. I believe on one of his hands the hinge goes side to side, so that is something to note. Then moving down over here into the ab crunch, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of do wish that we had the diaphragm joint as opposed to this, but you are going to get a pretty decent crunch going forward. So that's how far he crunches forward, and you can get him back as such. So you get a really nice deep crunch, and I do like how they continued some of the sculpting work in there, so it, it doesn't look like flat plastic. So I do like the way how that came out. Then coming down over here to the waist, he does have some nice waist articulation. We can go ahead and get that going. Then coming down over here to the legs, he does have thigh cut, which can go 360 degrees. He can kick out about this far, which I think is a pretty good range, and he can kick back about that far back. As far as knees, he does have double jointed knees, and of course, because of how the jeans are set up and stuff like that, you won't be able to get boot to butt, which is fine. There is no boot cut. However, there is, I guess you could say it is a boot cut. There's a boot cut here where the feet are, so you can spin it 360 degrees. You can get it to hinge up as so. You can get it to hinge down. However, you are going to run into some of the jean wrinklage here. And he also does have nice pivot. Now jumping over into some size comparisons. Over there to the left, we have the classic red and yellow Walgreens exclusive Daredevil. And over there to the right, we also do have the retro carded Spider-Man. And here we have them next to the Iron Man Model 20 and the X-Men 97 Wolverine. And over there to the left, we also do have the Colossus from the Colossus and Juggernaut 2-pack. And over there to the right, we also do have the retro-carded X-Force Deadpool. Then we also have the Marvel Legends Hand Ninja, and then we also do have our Blade. And over there to the left, we also do have Vision, and over there to the right, we also do have She-Hulk. And for some size comparisons outside of your Marvel Legends collections, over there to the left, we do have the Star Wars Black Series Darth Vader, and over there to the right, we have one of my favorite video game characters of all time, Super Mario. So, after all is said and done, I really think Hasbro did their due diligence and delivered us a phenomenal 2-pack that you are going to be very satisfied and very pleased with. Both of these figures definitely captured the source material, and they also do come with the accessories that they need in order to make them very playable figures, man. I like the fact that, you know, our Iron Fist came with all the different interchangeable hands as well as the flame effects, and I am excited that we did get the interchangeable head for the Luke Cage as well as the very detailed fisted hands with the brass knuckles on there. I love the articulation for the Iron Fist, as it does remind me of the body mold similar to the retro Spider-Man, so we are going to get a lot of playability with him. The only point where the articulation suffers for me, in my opinion, for both of the figures would be in the head articulation. All in all, both of these figures really stand out, and I'm happy that I was able to get both of them. We do have previous iterations of both of these figures, but to be honest, those old figures have nothing on these newer release figures. I do like the fact that, you know, they are pinless. That is one thing that I did forget to mention. Now, when it comes down to the overall grading of this 2-pack, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9.5. I'm only taking a half point off due to the neck articulation, but apart from those minor flaws, I think this is a great 2-pack. I think that you're going to be very pleased. There's definitely a lot of things to like here. So once again, guys, thanks for checking out another episode of Packed In Action Figure Reviews, where we give you that action that's packed in. Now, if you've liked the content from what you've seen on this channel so far, please do me a favor and like and subscribe, as it tremendously helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Have a good day.